Hello again YouTube, Mad Dog here, welcome back to my channel. So this video is going to be a bit of a look around the Mad Dog kennel, and we're going to have a nosy around what I keep in this garage, and basically just so that you can be nosy and come with me inside this little den. This video is a bit of a response video to my good mate Prepperdell. He's recently done a video showing his sort of man cave where he gets away from everything and stores some of his kit, and he's in the process of having a sort out, like we all have to, because over the years we all accrue a lot of kit and equipment, and he was asked the question, when does prepping become hoarding? And it is valid, it is a valid question, to be fair. So I thought I'd show you my little setup in the garage. As you know, I've had a recent sort out, and basically the stuff that I have in here is stuff that I use on a regular basis. So I'll get into it, roll an intro, and you can come and have a nosy around with me. Stay tuned. Welcome back. So as you can see, I'm at the far end of the garage, and this is where I have the little bench which for future videos and the most recent videos I do my filming and my shooting, if I'm going to be doing an overview of a product or just a chit chat, that kind of thing. So that's my workbench for shooting film basically, and at the back there I've got my go-to selection of belt knives, compasses, ferro-cerium rods and that kind of thing. Obviously I don't keep everything in this garage. I have my knife X collection, which is upstairs locked away in the house, as is a lot of other stuff. Like I say, I've tried to thin it down to the stuff that I use most often and most frequently. So just moving around to the corner of the garage here, on this piece of racking in the very far corner, I keep a selection of my most used bush pots, pans, kettles. You know, I've got the old percolator over there, and different canteens, frying pans, skillets. Basically that's it. It's just cookware. So obviously, you know, I've got the perk here, the Miltech percolator, and various cook kits. I won't go into it all, that's not what this video is about. So that's all grab and go type of kit, but it's also secondary grab and go type of kit, because under the main piece of racking, which I'll bring you around to now, I have at the bottom various rucksacks. Let me just see if I can bring it in here for a better shot, or better nosy around as it were. So from my left, you've got the old 75 litre, and it is old, I've had this since I was about 19, this rucksack. That kit is set up with the Polish Levu. It's an entire kit that I can grab that, throw it in my truck, and I can operate for at least a full weekend. So Friday, Saturday, Sunday, there's water, food, everything I need to survive comfortably, especially now I'm an old lad, for a full weekend. Then moving along, I have this, what looks like a black rucksack, but the front of it is actually green. That's a 70 litre ruck. Now that's kitted up for, you could do an overnighter with that, but I use that as what I call a heavy duty day pack. So the first rucksack, the full weekender, that weighs about 55 pounds. The next one weighs around 40 pounds. So that basically covers all of the 5 C's of survival. So really it's enough for a day. So if I go wood chopping, I throw that one in, plus my tools, plus extra water, you know the score. But in a push or in a pinch, I could do a weekend with that as well, but that will definitely be more roughing it than if I take the other bag. So moving along, I just have a couple more smaller Bergens, 40 litres, which I usually take with me if I'm doing a day's outing. I always include a first aid kit and a just in case kit to cover all of the 5 C's in all of my kits. Well, they're just basically grab and go day bags. If I'm on the hunt for some fat wood or foraging for wild food, that's my go-to. This old big bad boy here, that's my old PLCE 120 litre long back Bergen, complete with the rocket side patches. Now this little fella, although it's more survival based than bushcraft based in here, because there are things in there that aren't in the others that are probably a bit more, I won't say military, but a bit more, you know, I've got proper flares, signal kits, proper survival equipment in there. I feel confident that even as old as I am now, I could last a couple of weeks with the kit that I have in there, with the traps and the know-how basically, which also comes into play with this. So that's my bag that I hope I never use. You could call that my bug out bag, I guess, for a phrase. My proper emergency shit hits the fan sort of bag. Then moving along, I just have my small walking satchels, small bags, shoulder bags, etc. If I'm just going for a walk through the parks, wherever it may be, and I just want to take a flask, some water, my meds, etc. with me, there they are. Extra gloves, etc. Then on the next shelf up, I'm going to make this video a whole hour, but just giving you a quick, you know, whip through. Next shelf up, I have some go-to regular use bedding or sleep systems. So over on my left again, I have I believe this is the M80, the Swedish. It's like an all-weather sort of Arctic rated sleep system. Heavy, but absolutely fantastic, especially this time of year. Good sleep system, that, highly recommend that. Various wool blankets and undersheet covers, ground sheets. I've got hammocks in there, more wool blankets. Got the old British Army triple layer sleep system there. Great durable bit of kit, but absolutely bleeding useless in my opinion. Anything less than -2 and you will be suffering. They're not very good, to be fair, the old British Army stuff, and they're heavy. They weigh a bloody ton with a blue inner. And anyway, moving up, I've got tarps and cover. Tents to my left. So again, just go to stuff. You know, I've got this one, which is a 4-man TP. I've got a Miltech 2-man. I've got all sorts of stuff here. I've got the French Army F2, various bivvy bags and God knows what. But this is just stuff that I will use or have used recently. I've got an absolute pile of stuff still in the loft. I've got a pile of stuff in my other shed up the yard. Most of it, to be honest, if I live to be 500 years old, I'll never use it again. But some of it has emotional sort of attachment, and some of it I just can't let go because some of it you can't get anymore. So again, old odds and sods for different tarps, different types of fly tarps, ground sheets, you know the score, etc. And on the top I keep packing foam. If ever you're out and about, guys and lasses, top tip, look out for pallets or boxes that have got this styrofoam packaging in, because they're fantastic panels that you can put under your ground sheet or your sleep system, insulate you from conduction from the floor, and it makes you more comfortable as you get older, especially. Stops your hips and everything and your knackered knees from aching so much. So yeah, get yourself as much foam as you can. Any packing foam. They also make great kneeling pads, so I highly recommend that. And basically that's what that is up there. We'll continue the tour, stay with me. Okay, so moving back to the bench. Underneath of the bench I do keep, under this bit of netting here, just for aesthetics really, there are storage boxes under there, and basically under there I keep MRE meals, dry long-term food storage, basically enough emergency food for both me and the wife, for it should cover us for at least a month in an emergency. So whilst that doubles up as my rations, if you like, that I put in my rucksacks and my Bergens if I'm going camping or bushcrafting, whatever you want to call it. It is also my primary storage for prepping for a power outage or some sort of carnage that may happen locally. I'm not talking a major disaster or a civil war type of thing, but I mean a low-key, localised situation where the supermarkets may be closed, we have a power outage or panic buying or whatever the situation may be. There's enough supplies in there to accommodate me and the wife for at least a month. The other end of the garage, I do the same with water. I have several jerry cans, plastic sterilised jerry cans full of water, which I rotate round regular. And at the top of the yard, I also have a 200, I think it's 250 gallons, like a blue ultraviolet resistant barrel, which I also keep full of fresh drinking water. And I rotate that round in the summer so that I can use it for watering plants and crops, etc. So I'm not completely wasting that water. Okay, so right at the very far end of the garage, I have another bench, and on that I've got a bit of a TV where I can watch you guys and lasses on your YouTube channels when I'm sat out here in the evenings and I want something to entertain myself with. I've got a surround sound system that's been loaned to me by my good mate Moose, and it does sound good. I have underneath that bench, there's a fridge freezer under there for extra overspill stock, and there are also storage units which contain materials basically that help me supply my eBay shop. So I have several boxes of my English flint that I've acquired from various places. I have materials like leather, leather cordages, some steel like the 1095 steel blanks for my strikers, my magnifying lenses for my kits, 100% cotton cloth for when I'm charring, etc, etc. Most of the things that you see on my eBay shop, the raw material is stored under there and in my top shed. Keeps it dry, keeps it tidy. I can take it out when I need it, no fuss, no muss, happy days. I don't like things to get in too much of a state. If you've seen my shed that I used to record in, crikey me, the reason I'm back in here is that eventually is coming down, the top shed's coming down, replacing it for a newer one, and I'm just tidying everything up. I've got 30 years of accrued junk, to include mechanicking. I'm an electrician by trade, but I also do mechanicking, or used to as a young man, and the stuff that you accrue, tools, car parts, bike parts, etc. I've got to thin it all out, you know. I'm getting too old for all this junk around me, so that's why I'm doing this, and that's why I'm sharing this little video with you, just to show you what I've done in here, because up until prior to my heart attack, obviously I've had to sort out and thin my load out as well as health reasons, but prior to my heart attack you couldn't get in here. I had my old weight training Olympic set of weights in here. There was all bushcraft stuff hanging up everywhere. I literally could only just get in here. So this is a lot better now. I'll just bring you around here, do excuse me. Quick pan round. I've got jackets and stuff hanging up as well. Go-to jacket. Obviously the little bike lives in here too. So there she is, or he is, Harold I nickname it because it is a herald. So the little bike's in there too. It's all oiled up, ready for the winter now. The salters and the gritters have been out, so probably won't use it again this year. But I keep moving it about, keep it running, keep the battery charged up, keep the oil clean, etc. As you do with any vehicle. Oh yeah, pretty flag. Even though the keen-eyed of you may notice, idiot here, I've put it on upside down. Must rectify that this weekend. Okay, everybody wants to know what's in your cupboards. We're all nosy. Come on, let's be honest. We all want to know what's inside the cupboards. Okay, so there's nothing exciting really in here. Again, just go-to items. So the top, I've got some go-to items such as pocket-sized stoves, you know, Esbit type stoves, alcohol stoves, a couple of twig stoves in there, etc. Got a bag full of chaga mushrooms, some antique stoves that are part restored, that I'm work in progress you might say, buddy burners, some gas stoves. At the back I've got some excuse me, some hand drill materials that I do keep because I've cured them over many years. I think there's a couple of bow drill kits up there as well. And then over here I've got a couple of flint and steel kits which I throw in additionally if I'm going out, just in case, or I want to practice. And then this shelf here I've got various kits to include. I've got my Sawyer water filtration kits, various water filtration kits, and I've got like the water filter bottle systems and homemade filter kits, different chemicals for water purification, etc, etc, military shovels. I've got toiletry kit in there, various spare lighters. I've got my old catapult there, and then further down I have a selection of go-to hatchets and axes. Like I say, I don't keep masses of cutting tools in this shed, in this garage. I keep most of them locked away safe upstairs. I can lock this cupboard even though it's only thin tin. Then right at the bottom we have, under here, various lanterns and lights, you know, oil lamps. I've got gas lamps, various junk like that, different, you know, battery lanterns. I've got old antique battery lanterns, pull cord cheap ass things. They do come in useful. I've got antique push pump, you know, the old fuel lamps there that you pressurise. That needs resurrecting and restoring. That's on work on the in tray. My missus brought me that. She says, I know you like old stuff, here's another project for you. So that's what's in there, a couple of head torches. And then right at the very bottom I've got various fuels. So I've got paraffin, terps, white spirits, rubbing alcohol, you name it. And obviously gas canisters, more fuels, dragon fire gels. I've got bloody packets and packets of them bloody fuel gel things, you know. They are good, but for me you've got to have a container to keep them contained, that they just run everywhere, and each to their own. Malibu sunscreen, don't forget sunscreen in the summer, you know, it's something nobody packs. Put a little bit in a container and put it with your first aid kit, you know, keep yourself protected. The dreaded disposable gas bottles, etc, etc. And then I've got, oh my poor old knees, I've got some letters and stickers from you guys and lasses. I've also got a folder in the far corner full of letters and stickers that I've collected over the years. I'm sentimental old sod and I'll never let them go. Thank you all very much. So that's what's in the cupboard. I'm worn out already. You guys and lasses must be bored to death, but I'm showing everybody this, especially prepper, how I organise my go-to kit so that everything's in its place, if that makes sense. You know, I know where everything is, so I'm not rutting around for stuff, you know. So I've got traps, life traps, snares, etc. Some go-to cordage, as in the nylon, tarred nylon. Some of my tarred jute cordage, paracords, and things like these are good bits of kit. Do bear with me. Do recommend these. I think this is made by a company called Summit. 9mm diameter rope, 15 metres. These make excellent ridge lines. Now I know we all use paracord, etc, but it is stretchy over time and it's fiddly to work with when you're cold. Get yourself some good 9mm rope, excellent ridge line, and use paracord for your prusik loops. You know, if you're going to use tarps and stuff, it's a lot easier to work with. Yes, it's heavier and bulkier, but it also has multiple other uses: wood carrying, climbing, making a loop for climbing trees, etc, etc. Won't go into it all. I've got several of them kicking about. Good bit of kit. And we're getting to the final. We're getting to the final bit, so stay tuned. Oh, crikey me. Okay, last push. So we're at the back end of the garage by the 2 double doors. And what I have here, I've got 2 white cupboards here. And leaning up in the very corner, I've got some rolls of carpet. Now, this sounds funny. They're like rugs, you know. But they make ideal, if you've got a selfie stick, they make ideal little... what would you call it? I won't say tripod, but you can get these bad boys, wedge them in places that you can't with a tripod, and you can get some quite nice camera angles from that, whether you're photographing or filming, just by shoving a selfie stick in the centre of an old rug. But anyway, I digress. In the corner I've got some tripods. The tripod that I'm using here tonight is also normally stood in there. I have some of these, you know, like we all do, these cheap ass things that you can also use as a selfie stick. There down there. And then the cupboards themselves. I'm not going to bang on too long now, guys and lasses. So in here I've got my motorbike kit. So I have a set of, oh crikey me, junk everywhere. I've got a set of armoured waterproof jackets and trousers, matching pair there. My set of leather boots, armoured boots. I've got 2 crash helmets, a full face and my open face matte black one, a retro one you might say. Excuse me, a couple of pairs of gloves, etc. in that cupboard, so that I can come in here, I can get changed, grab the bike and go. So, and then when I come back, even if I'm wet through, stand on the rug, get changed, got towels, get dried, dry my kit off, back in my civvies, and then back in the house, no fuss, no muss. So that's what's in there. Then above there, I've got this is just a seat hump that I can clip to the back of the bike to put my locks, etc. in. Bike cover, little bottles that I can drop in my pocket with chain lube in. So if I do go any distance, I can lubricate my chain. Quick footnote, this video is really going to be long ass, I know. These cheap ass little bottles that you can get from Sheebay with the nozzles that screw on and click into position. Ideal also for bushcraft. They're great for putting some olive oil in for cooking, your herbs, your spices, whatever you use for cooking, ketchup even, whatever it may be. And also, if you're into hunting, a bit of builder's chalk. Put a bit of builder's chalk in one of these. So if you're hunting, you can puff some of this stuff up into the air. The wind will take it in the direction the wind is blowing if there isn't an obvious breeze. So you can always make sure that your scent is going, you know, away from your intended quarry or prey. So little trick for you hunters out there, costs nothing, you know, literally pence. So next cupboard, let's move on. I've also got a bit of camera gear up here. I've got a body harness so I can film on my bike, a waterproof rucksack that my good mate Moose gave me, which is just right for my bike. Basically all motorbike gear. Got myself stuck in good here. Just bring you along a little ways. So selection of boots that I currently use. I've got more boots than you can shake the proverbial at, but they're my go-tos. They're comfy, they do the job. And then in here I've got some greens, obviously, which bushcrafter don't have a set of greens, you know. So various jackets and trousers, again my common go-to stuff. So if I'm going to have a weekend up the woods, I can choose, depending on the weather, which accompanying gear I'm going to wear, throw that in my truck, drive in my civvies and my slippers, whatever you want, you know, your trainers, and then get booted and suited when I get on site or if I'm going for a hike. So I'm comfortable driving, but I've got the kit for most eventualities weather-wise. So that's why I store that in there. Again, I've got loads of stuff, more stuff in the loft and in the top shed, but just stuff that I use on a daily basis. My rule of thumb is if you haven't used it in the last 2 years, you're not going to use it. Bin it, sell it, or get it in the loft or somewhere else out the way. Keep the stuff that you're using tidy. So that's my my work ethic at the moment. Seems to be working. Couple of boonies, hats, couple of caps up there. My brother Redneck Renegade, yeah. Custom Outlaws, Matt over there at Custom Outlaws. A couple of caps and a beanie. I believe they came from Jason Ledbury, I believe, all the way from New Zealand. Hello brother, if you're watching. Hope the missus is on the mend. So yeah, just one last quick pan round. I've had to move my Concept 2 rowing machine out of the way. That's going in the house during the winter. Hopefully I'll be able to start using that again. Now I'm on the mend with the heart, etc. Cracking bit of kit. Light as anything, easy to manoeuvre, love it. No stress on the joints. Nice bit of exercise kit that's the Concept 2 rowing machine. But as you can see, that's my little den. Boys and toys, eh? You got to have a hobby, you got to have something to keep you out of mischief. Anyway, I guess I've rambled on way too long, but I know you guys and lasses sometimes like to see what other people do and how you do things. This is my go-to at the moment work sort of station for bushcraft or YouTube as well. You know, this is where I do my YouTubing now. The top shed, I'll probably show you what's happening in there another day. It's a right mess. It's unusable at the moment, but it is what it is. Anyway, this is a bit of a response to Prepperdell. Hope you find something useful, brother. I feel your pain, but don't stop doing what you're doing, because it's fun as well. You know, we'll get too serious about all this stuff sometimes, and oh, am I doing the right thing? Should I do this? Should I do that? Do what makes you happy. That's my advice to anybody. It's a hobby. We're not being shot at in some cases, for some of us, anymore. It's a hobby. Enjoy yourself. You're only here once. Do what makes you happy. As long as you're safe and you're not hurting anybody else, gets the thumbs up from me. Anyway, hope you found it entertaining, if not useful, people, and thank you for staying with me. If you are still with me after this long ass video, it's great to be nosy, isn't it? I'd love to have a rummage in other people's sheds and garages. I love it. So anyway, that's mine. Take care, see you all soon. Mad Dog signing off. Yeah.